All right. Whew. All right. Ooh. Hey, you tourists. Hey, you tourists. It's your boy Domination. This is back of the basic. Chunk of the deuces I would do text baby man at this back. You know this it is. Real man Russ, I fake man Russ, then real Russ, I fake Russ, then prep the word preach on. Oh my god. I'm topic and y'all read the title, y'all look it up. I'm gonna get in that. But I really want to address a few things before I'm doing this. Whoever this person that gave me a comment saying that I'll talk about this other topic some other time, but this one I'm going to address this. For all you folks out there that don't know what a simp is, like, man, y'all can go look it up because I'm not a simp. First of all, that's what's wrong with some of the guys nowadays. They don't actual true meaning respect anymore, and that goes to women too. The sad part about it, I'm not pressuring anybody that, but I'm gonna speak about that some of the time. I'm not gonna even drag it any further. But what I really need to speak about behind the word slavery, people need to understand that term slavery is came from Eastern European. If you don't believe me, you can go look it up and see it for yourself. That's the people from Ukraine, Russia, Bul, 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 Bulgaria, Russia, whatever you want to call it, Macedonian, Gondolian, Negro, whatever. There was a group of people called themselves the Slavic people. They're over there from Eastern Europe, Eastern Europeans. Eastern Europeans, not the Western Europeans, not the Northern Europeans, not the Southern Europeans. It's Eastern Europeans, and that goes over there to the Caucasus, from the Southern Caucasus to the North Caucasus. And what people got to understand, what we think of Europe. Europe is where the of falling of Rome, Britain, Russia, Germany, Ireland, you name it. What has Germany's been known for? Beer and all the other stuff, and German sausages, and whatever you want to call it. And Russia's been known for vodka and AK-47s and stuff like that. Britain's been known for polite manner and practical English and the English tea, you know it. And anything else, French fries has been known for French fries. Get it, French fries? And Ireland, where it's the birthplace of breakfast and St. Patrick Day and all this stuff. People got to know this type of stuff before you want to speak about what's going on. There's a real reason why some white people believe the things they've been taught, and some of them know this is stuff is BS. They know the original slaves were actually white people. The sad part about this, I don't know if there's a civil rights people know about this. I bet you they know about this. And I know the right wing know about this as well. And the left wing, whatever, the Democrat, Republican, they will never speak about this. They will never speak about this. And how that white people over there in Europe is the birthplace of racism. It wasn't started in Africa. It didn't start in Asia. It didn't start over there and anywhere else but Europe. And that's why Europeans, for the most part, they left Europe about 1600 all the way to, no, 1400, basically 14 centuries ago, and all the way to 16 and all the way to 18th century. It depends. Now, white people will never admit that they got some African ancestors. That's just a cold word saying they got some nig in their blood. Basically, they got blacks in their blood. That's why you see dark Caucasians. They out there. Armenians are dark Caucasian. Greeks are dark Caucasians, and so is Turkey people. They are dark Caucasians. Georgian people, they're dark Caucasian, and I ain't talking about Atlanta, Georgia. I'm talking about a people called Georgian over there on the other side of Europe, somewhere. And who else? They're Italians. They were dark Caucasians, but they'll tell you the minute they don't have black relations, blood of blacks. They do. They just don't want to admit it, and it goes back to the Moors that ruled Europe from 700 years. 700 years. No wonder why they got a corner store called 7-Eleven, and that's paying homage to the Moors and what they did, how they slaved the women for the Caucasus Mountains, because the Caucasian women, beautiful women for the Caucasus, because they were seen the most beautiful in beauty and beautyment of the women of the world. But every woman is beautiful. And you want to know who's really behind when it comes to racism? It was a man named a German philosopher, anthropologist named Johann Friedrich Bubenbach, because he believed that white people are the most beautiful race of people. Go look it up in Wikipedia. They changed it because this motherfucker put two Caucasians, no, two whites basically. You got the Europeans who mixed with Asians, Caucasian mixed with Mongols, and racially the clean Europeans is preferred these Eastern Europeans or whatever dirty whites. For example, did you know that Asian people classified them as black over there in South Africa? Did you know that South Africa, white South Africans was classified as black? Even from the people from the North Caucasus or the Southern Caucasus, when they leave Europe, especially the Southern Caucasus, when they go to the United States, they classify them as white. But when they over there from the Caucasus, they classify them as black, not because of the skin color, it's because their hair texture. And it goes back to this goddamn Aryan race belief. This so-called Aryan race that people talk about with this blonde hair and blue eyes, it's all manufactured. It's all made up. It's all bullshit. I am sick and tired of hearing people say that white people, for the most part, that runs everything. It's the white elites that's run shit. Majority of white people don't run a damn thing. Not even the poor white folks or middle class white folks. It's the rich white folks that run shit. And they think Donald Trump is really gonna help white folks. They got another thing coming. That ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna tell you something else. It's no different. Obama ain't gonna do nothing for the black community. He born a golden spoon in his mouth. Ain't that many black men are lucky to have that kind of life he raised around rich white folks. Come on. Who's taking care of him? The white folk. Wasn't blacks take care of them? Not rich blacks. Rich blacks are making money with rich whites. Rich whites always making money with rich blacks. But rich blacks would never make money off of rich whites. Think about it. Poor white folks and poor black folks are the ones, they're not even considered that. And it's fucked up to say that, but I have to be real. What else? I even hear stories about how they saying that black people used to brought Africans over here and working them for cheap labor. I heard it all, man. I heard it all, and I don't know how these stories are true, a fabrication of the story or not. I don't know how true it is. But I'm gonna tell you something. It sounds bullshit if you ask me. And the reason why I say that, me and my father had this conversation. He was telling me how they used to hang black men into those no lit ropes. Yeah, that's slavery right there. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about. Those Nordic ropes would symbolize that black men being hung of the rope. And actually, the origin of the lynching is started by two prima judges that last name is Lynch. Please go look that up because for some reason nobody don't know about this, including black people need to look into this because so is Caucasians. They don't know white people, whatever, because they don't know anything about it. And I'm gonna tell you something else though. Even from when I know y'all hear this phrase a lot. See you later, alligator, at the wild crocodile. Do you know what it actually really means? They used to throw African slave babies into the swamps. Yeah, I even heard stuff like that. No wonder why they say see you later, alligator, at the wild crocodile. Once they see you as an alligator and see you later after you get by alligator at the wild, you're gonna be crocodile tonight. No wonder. They used to use phrases like eeny, meeny, miny, mo, pinky by the toe. But that's not what it really meant. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo basically mean catch a nigga by his toe. Yeah, when they catch a nigga, they're going to hang him by the toe all the way to up and down. Hang him up as a rope. That's what it means. Cut his toe. Make sure he ain't running or nothing. It's no different than the worst when this goddamn Roots actual Quintumet series. I heard it all. Even a bunch of white kids getting jumped because of that actual series behind it. We need to have a black people and white people. Black people, black people and white people need to have these conversations about this because it can help more generation for won't continue with this racial hatred stuff. Because I'm sick and tired of it. The bullshit I heard. It's sad. It is so sad. Even white millennials and black millennials don't believe none of this. But I'm telling these white millennials and black millennials, you best believe it because your folks witnessed all this stuff was going on. And I believe it was funded by the government too. They're making money off of this. And it's sad and it's wrong to keep blacks and whites separated and not bringing them together as a whole. Because last time I checked, God create all races from white, black, Asian, whatever. But people, but sadly, most people don't see it like that, and it's pretty sad. It really is. And we'll never get as far if we don't look any further and the better the future and the further that we better as a people. It's more to come. We got to think about that. But anyway, what else? I heard it all. I heard it all, man. I heard it all. Even from they lynched they nailed black men to the cross. I heard it all. I heard it all. Even when I come to find out, there was a ice cream jingle song. It was a racial single song, and I'm not gonna repeat it because y'all need to look it up for yourself. No wonder why they don't show these ice cream trucks coming out here anymore because they found out it's an actual racial term. Basically, a nigga love a watermelon. Basically, it was a theme song behind it. That theme song. I tell you what, I don't want to hear that shit no more. It's sad you could be that hateful to hate somebody else. Because how would they feel when people discriminate them? It doesn't feel right when people do it to you, but then you do it to other folks. We got to stop this hate, black or white or black. We got to stop because some are going to get hurt behind that. It's not good. And I blame those who run this position and our system are responsible for that because I don't see them hate each other. It's all about business as usual. You know how that go. It is what it is. Money talking, bullshit walk. House similar. But anyway, even when it comes to these slavery movies, you notice these slavery movies that's coming out, they always show the same thing, where they were showing black people into a boat, got kidnapped by Europeans, or set sail with Europeans, or making money with Europeans. But what is the purpose of slavery, though? What is the purpose? To make money with white people, and white people too lazy making money for themselves? Because we're not the ones that doing to them. It was their people that look like them that does that to them. And I'm not trying to hurt. I'm not trying to be mad at white people. But white people do need to wake up and realize that, yo, man, we've been had, we've been used, we've been taken advantage of, and they use us to go against them, and they use them to go against us, and we should not let that happen. I'm tired of slavery moves, man. Really am. You see one, you see all of them. But they never picked the myth of white people in slavery, unless it was the movie called Braveheart, how the Scottish people, their land was taken by the French or the quote unquote British, whatever, and even they use is bridesmaid on their wives, taking their women away from them. Yeah, that's slavery. Even Asians enslaved each other a couple of times, and so is Africans enslaved each other. Everybody's slave at one point, but not everyone, because slavery was used as a way to make fun and fundament out of business, and it's not right and it's wrong. But actually, the term slavery basically means to strip or stain an enemy. That's what it really means. But it also is people that speak the same way that understand and stood with each other. They're going through the same thing. Go look it up because people need to know this stuff, man. And I'm gonna tell you something else though. They will never tell you who runs our church, who runs our media, and who runs politics. It's always been them. It's been them for years. Most white people, not all, but some of them do got black blood in them. Some of them don't, but they'll never come out and admit that. I hear more black people say they got more white in their family than I ever hear more white people say they got blacks in their family. How terrific that is. But anyway, if these slavery movies like the the 12 years of slavery about a black man where he was a free black man, he was no longer a slave, but he was raised in up north. But then once they bought him back and bring him back to slavery, that don't make no sense. You mean to tell me it was a black dude who used to be he was a slave, but he's not a slave no more. He's a free man, and then they bought him back to make him being a slave again. You see how bullshit it is? They're basically saying if you work with someone else instead of work for yourself. That's what it really is. That's a key word. You can't do it on your own, but really they can't do without you. And then to make you think that you can't do without them. You can do without them, but they can't do without you. You kept their business going. Without you, the whole system would be a tankment. It would be a tank out of the tankment of the tankerizement. Basically, the system will collapse. Even I heard DJ Vlad said that they didn't want to give black reparations because it's going to bankrupt the country. It's already bankrupt. Vlad. So what the fuck you talk about, Vlad? Come on now. You're a fucking Russian. You know damn well that this country has been set up since the beginning. Look what goes on, what they did to Russian people. How the Russian people were being way they was basically depressed. They was depressed out there with their own folks. Yeah, from the Cold War and all that, and there was war the Chechens and the Russians, and they went to war with Ukraine for Ukraine could fight their independence. Come on, what happened to all this white power stuff? They say it's all bullshit. That's what it is. Even from Africans can't stand one another. Come on, I remember one time I saw a video. It was a bunch of Africans carrying machetes trying to attack other Africans that taking jobs from other Africans. And they say they fucking tired. It was a Somalia people and the quote Nigerian people. I mean, it was crazy. You tell me. I want the Africans to explain that to me because it shows me that Africans do not get along. I heard one brother say if you live in Africa, you will never get harassed by the police. I think just that. When I heard that, I thought I said to myself, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. If you really believe that if you live in Africa and you will never get harassed by the police, you sadly mistaken. But if you get harassed by the cops here, I know you get harassed by the cops over there. Don't believe it. Don't believe it. Even the Africans know that shit ain't true. Come on. That's the dumbest shit I ever heard. But one thing is can true, you ain't got to pay no damn child support in Africa. You notice that, right? I, I even heard of the dude that one who support Donald Trump, even though I don't agree with that, what he says about Donald Trump. If you're going to support him, support him. I don't agree with the whole Trump, but he said, why you think Obama's daddy went to Africa? That was funny, but it was wrong and cold, but he was right about that. I ain't never heard no Africans ever have to pay some child support in the country that they live. They can have many wives as they want. I'm telling you, that's polygamy as a motherfucker going on. Even women can have many husbands. I don't know how true that is. And it's might like that in any country, but especially in Africa. But anyway, man, look at these slavery movies and tell me that they funded these movies, making money to cause division and line between the Africans and the Europeans. I'm telling you, you can't tell me. Even white people have to play the racist. If they don't, they ain't getting no money. Simple as that. I don't put my trust in Hollywood. Hollywood is full of shit. From white Hollywood to black Hollywood, they all is a fucking joke. All of them. They made me sick. I'm telling you, man, there's something ain't right about this. And I'm gonna tell you something else what gets me. When it comes to Black History Month, you ever notice in Black History Month, they always talk about Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, but they never talk about other black people that achievement of a lot of greatness, and not just black men and black women too. There are black inventors. For some odd reason, they don't never talk about them. They always think it's just we created everything from white people. There's some part that white people create, but they didn't create everything. Some of the stuff they took it from other people, including blacks. But for some odd reason, they will never talk about. But you know, it's funny. They claim that blacks stole from them, but really they're the ones stolen blacks. You see how funny that is? You see how funny that is? They'll never get blacks a reparation because soon our people get some reparation, whatever, then everybody get their hands stuck out and want the money. I'm telling you, you got to really look at what's really going on, what's really taking place in our country. I'm telling you. And then I don't even like talking about both Joe Biden, but it'd be my last time. Only thing I can say about this: how can Joe Biden sit there and say, if you don't vote for me, you're not really black? He don't know what it's like to deal with that type of stuff. He'd be the last one to talk. And Kamala Harris, a lot of brothers do not really like her, and sisters too, because they all she does is get more black men locking up. I'm telling you, man, if they supported her, we already fucked as it is. I'm telling you. But you don't see a bunch of white guys to get arrested in some of the cases that they done. I mean, for real, think about that for 1 second. Now, don't get me wrong. They should lock brothers and sisters up, but they need to lock everybody up, including whites, Asians, Latinos, every group. So they all done stuff too. It ain't just blacks. It's everyone. But I'm gonna say this, man. You know, even when I heard about when it comes they do TV series about the Roots. Did you know Isaac Hayes was being sued by $400 million or something like that? I don't know how true that is. Dick Gregory said this before he died, when he was in his presence in the world, when he was alive, and how he copied a white novel called the book called Africa, and copied every story of that book. I don't know about Queen, but maybe the Roots. But I'm going to ask people, who is Kunta Kinte really, and what does it really mean for all you Africans out there? What is Kunta Kinte? What does it stand for? Is Kunta Kinte really exist? That's something you got to think about. Is Isaac Hayes really copied a book that are from a white journalist? Think about that. And not just Africans, Europeans too. I'm sick of this shit between us against them. And I'm really tired of it. And I know white people tired of this shit too. Because first thing I'm going to say, here they go, blaming on the white man. But really, it's the elites. White elite or black elites control the blacks and the whites, man. If you don't believe me, you better look around. I'm telling you. And I don't know, man. Isaac Hayes is not here to defend himself. Rest in peace. But the sad part about it, you know, he had to apologize after he paid this man. And it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. I mean, I never noticed that. I mean, President Obama, his dad is an African, and his mom is a white Kansas City woman. And some people say he lied about his past and all that. That's explained about a fake birth certificate. But it's funny that you got Donald Trump. His families came from Germany. Think about it. I did not know about Donald Trump. He's on part of the ketchup. I don't know how that true is, but I forgot what the ketchup. But y'all know what I'm talking about. That was named. That was named. It was referenced from German. Hans Ketchup. They said his family owned part of that fortune. I don't know how true that is. Give me your comments and of the live chat and say something if it is true about it or not. I don't know. So that's what I heard. I don't know how that is, but I don't believe anything said until I see it myself. Even cartoons, even cartoons is racist at the time. It was. Cartoons is very racist at the time, like from Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck and stuff like that. I mean, you think about that. Even they said Smurfs is part of the quote unquote support of the white supremacy. I don't know how true that is. And I think it is. It might be possible. It can be. But damn, man, I never expect that. Even video games sometimes. Video games. I just come to find out that if y'all never played Mafia 3, go play that. Because they saying the actual mint of the main story of the game when Lincoln Clay was trying to get out of the reason why Lincoln Clay got out of Vietnam War because he shot a police officer, and they were saying he was got attacked by a racist white mob of the clan of the Italian mafia. I don't know how true, and they was trying to hang him with the rope. They never show that. They never show. They show when he was like age 18 years old when they shown his most what a criminal wanted posters and stuff like that on the game. I never thought about that. That's why he went to the war to try and to escape his past. But my thing is if it is true, even they never talk about how Joey Barbario, something like that, his actual of his dad, because his dad was Italian and his mom is Dominican, half Italian, half Dominican, still black and white. But think about this: it's just Spanish and one. They what's the difference? Italians just like Spanish in some ways, and it is. And Dominicans the same way as well. They speak of African language and the European language. That's just it, black or white. But really, I want to say this though, man. I really want to say this for a long time. Um, you know, let's say for example, they even put in some movies. It was called White Water. And if y'all never heard of it, it's about this kid trying to drink the black kid trying to drink this white water, white fountain, whatever. Because back then they had white only water you know what I'm talking about. White water and black water. Water is water. I don't see any difference. They couldn't drink white water at that time. They only could drink black water. Once this kid tried to find out to drink this white water, he realized after he drank it that it tastes just the same as the black water. And the white cop was laughing because he knew was bullshit since day one. The only difference is white water is clean and the black water is dirty. Do you see how bullshit it is? One water it's got some little dirt, and the other one don't have no dirt at all. It's just pure water. Look how bullshit this thing is. Even from the Jim Crow law. Did you know it was about a black person, not a black person, a white person was painted face to mock black folks, basically trying to be envy of blacks. He wish he was black or want to be just like blacks or jealous of blacks. I mean, it's funny. I mean, I ain't never seen a bunch of black people wearing white faces. Even if it was, they'd get offended. I just think people need to quit mocking racist faces, period. Black or white, especially white folk, because they got that bad and they think it's just a joke. But if somebody did it to them, especially a black person, they really have a problem with that if somebody did that to them. If you don't want nobody to do it to you, don't do it to us, and we won't do it to you. Period. I just don't understand, because we need to have these conversations, believe it or not, because nobody likes to talk about this at all. Not even white people, because most white people will never admit it. They'll never admit, like, you know what, you're right. Some of our people are aware of the blackface and how painful it is mocking blacks and this and that and whatever. Even the word nigger, I don't like using that word, the N word basically. A lot of people don't even know what this word is, but I'm going to tell you. Not only does this word actually mean black, it also means dead. Because they're trying to say that black people is the association of death. Basically, we in the, deceased people, like we no longer existed in the world. We become dead. We want to die on this earth. Speaking of the ancestors, speaking of the dead, and it goes back to Egyptians and stuff like that. That's why they say this word so much. White people came up with it because they was too lazy to say Negro instead, and that's in English, but and Nick or Negro in Spanish. So it basically means black. I heard when white people, when they passed away, their bones start to turn black when they died. That's why they fear black. For some are real. I mean, I don't know how true it is. Even the definition of the word black means pale. They're the opposite of white. They're just like white people. And white is means colorless. And that means white people got black blood. Just like white people, just like white people got black blood, and black people got white blood in them. Most black people will claim it fast in a hurry. Some will, some won't. But I never hear a white man or white women ever say they got some black blood unless they say African ancestors. That's the first thing they say. That's just another word saying they black or they got some black ancestors. Look at Ronda Rousey. She is black, kind of, even though she's a Caucasian woman. She got she got a black ancestors. Yeah, because some of her family owned part of a university or school or something of her family side. I mean, it's hard to believe. But Ronda Rousey, she got some black blood in her. I mean, looks deceitful. Look at Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey is actually mixed. She's Venezuela and it also is black. Her dad was black and her mom was white. And also she got some Irish in her. How she have a hard time fitting in. She don't know what she is. She don't know she black. She don't know she white. She's just a person. Because biracial you both. You black or white, even though you're not pure white and pure black. Pure black is like Akon color. Pure white is like Cole Kidman, basically. But do not believe that white people are going to build a world as a utopia. And utopia is just another word, good place. That everything is all good, nothing bad happened. It's bullshit. It's a long story. I'm not going to, you can go look it up. And the dystonia basically means no good, no good place. Basically, it's always something bad. I hate 2020, man. 2020, but you start to see things clearly. I'm telling you, even rest in peace to Chad Woodman, Boss Mint, whatever his name. I didn't even like the Black Panther movie because it picked them in black on black violence, and then if you notice the movie when the white agent they kept referring to him as a colonizer. Basically, he colonized the European, he colonized blacks. He's in charge. That showed me a lot. They even show Africans in some of the history got their hand chopped off by the Europeans, by the colonizers. But they do the same thing to their people over there in Europe. I mean, you think about this for 1 second, man, and this is how crazy this thing is. You know, and why I'm doing this video? I'm doing this video because we need to look up these words and see what it means and why they say them. Because we keep saying this, and I want people to explain this to me. Why do we keep referring ourselves that we're depressed and they are depressed? I get tired of hearing that. When we're saying we're depressed, we want to make impressization to be inspired to be more like the Europeans. And then they depress us, they want to make impressization, we can be pressed by them, but they can be pressed by us to be more like them, and they be more, and then they could be they more like us, and they impressed by us, and they want to be more like us. We want to be them, and they want to be us, basically, because that's what it means when you say the presser. Presser means you've been pressed by them. You want to be like them, but you can never be like them. And we're the pressers. We want to make impressization, but they can never be impressed by them and by us and whatever. It's the same thing. It's just how you say it. Black brothers and sisters, stop saying that white people are your oppressors and you're the press. Because what you're saying is you want to be like them, but you can never be them. And basically, and they could be to bend the precedent by you, but they're not impressed by you. It's just I don't understand why we say shit like that. And it's the other way around. I don't understand why. Don't even know what it means. Don't even know what it means whatsoever. And we say stupid shit like that simply because we've been doctrinized by lies. And whites are the same way too. They always talking about they're gonna go back to the good old days. Nobody wants to be mind of the days when you can't go to certain restaurants. Can't eating the same food with the same folks. Can't even go to the bathroom. That's how stupid it is. And can't even go to swimming pool. Think about it. Look how stupid Jim Crow was. And they funded this shit. And it's about a white guy painting black faces and mocking blacks. Yeah, yeah. It's one of the most stupidest laws out there. It was one of the most stupid ass laws. Because nobody wants to call it out for what it is. Black people know it's stupid, and so is white people. But they funded the shit. And then all they do is making money off poor whites and poor blacks to get them to fight one another and not seeing the big picture. It was the rich blacks and the rich whites that funded people's pain off of this bullshit. It's bullshit if you believe it. Really is. And it's sad that majority of people do believe this nonsense. And I don't know why. Maybe because they believe it because they've been indoctrinated by lies and been told that somehow that we can't do without them, but really they can't do without us. Or we can't do it. Basically, we need each other at the end of the day. And we got to start loving one another, start caring one another, and stop buying into the lies that they tell us. And it's bullshit if you really believe it. If you really believe it. And, oh my God, even when it comes to sports entertainment, I'm not gonna lie. Let's be honest. You know, I give some Europeans they did create the sports activities, but have you noticed when black athletes they came and own the damn team just as much as their white counterparts, and not is there not a much a black coach? They won't even give Derek Prescott $40 million. They refuse to give him that, and fuck Skip Baylor, man. I talk about that some of the time, but dude, how can you sit there and say that he's not really depressed? You don't know what to deal with depression and anxiety have to deal with because uh, actual health is a serious problem. Please, people, if you got depressed and anxiety, get some help, man. Get some better counseling. Take care of yourself and pray for Derek Prescott. And it's sad that he had to deal with the loss of his brother. That is really hard to deal with. It really is. Nobody shouldn't have to lose a family. That is the toughest thing you have to deal with your life. But anyway, man, it's like this, man. I hear this a lot from people, especially when it comes to Black Lives Matter. I don't support Black Lives Matter, and I'm gonna be honest with you why. Because when our brothers and sisters start harming each other, they don't say nothing. But when it comes to whites and Asians, Latinos that harm our folks, they got something to say. White people the same way, they guilty of this. When their people being hurt, first thing they'll say they have a mental problem, mental issue, and they'll make excuses for that. But when it comes to blacks trying to harm them, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, now they want to say, "Oh, this is not right" and stuff like. No, people should not touch anyone, black or white, if that's as far as that goes. What they're saying, nobody can touch their own, but their own. No, nobody can touch anybody, including their own or other nationalities. Like the word of Bernie Mac, man. First thing first, he said this: there is no such thing as no black on black crime. White on white crime, crime is a crime. Crime is still an issue in our United States, but actually around the world, man. But I'm really sick of this shit, man. This argument, this double standard they're trying to sit there and say, and they've been saying this bullshit, this same bullshit argument statistics for years. How blacks commit the most crime. That's what I'm tired of hearing because I know that's not true. Because last time I checked, white people commit crimes to home invasion, killing a mass school shooting, college school shooting, and killing their family insurance. And now you got blacks are doing that shit. Thanks to whatever his name is, Ted Newman, killing his own nephew over some bullshit for five for $400,000 for a life insurance, and got a stripper and a producer behind this damn killing, but he can uh to making money off of the restaurant Sweetie Pies, man. But some people believe he was trying to go after his mom, and I believe so. And stealing his mom, that says a lot. So where the Black Lives Matter at then? Where are they at? None. They nowhere to be found. Even white lives matters are full of shit as well. Once white people start harming themselves, and that so is the blue lives matter too. The police. But police have nothing to say with certain gangs they ain't gonna fuck with, and some ones they do. For example, Hell's Angels. They're good at to be under the radar of the cops. And for years, even they say some of the gangsters pay off the police payroll. Come on. The drug cartels doing that in Mexico. Come on. That makes you think they get away with what they did. And the Colombian drug lords. But this is not the place to talk about that. That's some other time. But anyway, but when it comes to slavery, man, we got to really be honest about some of the stuff what we've been taught. Because I'm really getting sick and tired of hearing my brothers and sisters talk about white supremacy. Let me explain you what white supremacy really is. All white supremacy is really about that white people believe that they came from a quote unquote of a mythical race of people called the Aryan race. That's what it is. It's bullshit. Any brother sister that believe it, there's something wrong. They need to get out more and go to Europe, and you'll see why some Europeans are whites or whatever being the way they are now. It's bullshit if you want to believe this theory. Even European Union control Africa, but Africans will never say that. Never. They'll shut their mouths up quick, or they'll report them right back to their country and to basically externalize their green card for they want access to this country again. Come on, they ain't gonna say a word. They won't say it. Can you really blame? They trying to make a living to make money in America. Come on now. That's what white supremacy is. That whole Aryan race shit. That came from Hitler's idea, but really it came from another man. I don't know what his name, but y'all can look him up. It's just a speaking language of a European branch of European families. It didn't make any sense. It's bullshit. And they classified three white people into a certain race of graph of what white person looks like. Aryan, Hamitic, and Shemitic. But Aryan is number one. And it goes back to India. They divide people from India, thanks to Britain, between the North Indians is the light skin and the South Indians is dark Indians. That is sad because that is going on over there. Because this is why Gandhi did not want the British people invaded India. He want them out of there in this country, and they assassinated. Even some people say that Gandhi was racist towards blacks, even though just as much as British are being racist towards blacks, Gandhi didn't like blacks either. I'm telling you. And that explains why Martin Luther King looked up to him. I don't know why Martin Luther King knew about this if Gandhi was a racist or not. He probably didn't know, but I think he knew. He just maybe he got change hard. People make mistakes, but I'm gonna tell you something else, man. Last not least, this white privilege stuff. All white privilege is basically about white people can buy and afford there's certain things they couldn't buy and afford like they do. That's what white privilege is. But there's black privilege too. Black people can afford and borrow just as much as whites, but really the only way they gotta get it if they gotta make money with whites instead of making money with blacks. Blacks can't even make money off of whites. Whites can make money off of blacks. Why is that? Because they control our fucking banks, and it goes back all the way to the Knight Templars, and the Ku Klux Klan is direct descendants, and they connect to Freemasonry and practice sadism. You won't hear that from these black churches, and you damn sure won't hear it in the white church. They know it, and they know it's the truth. So that's explain your question. Matter of fact, go watch a Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and see what that movie is about. Funded candy over there in Switzerland. Matter of fact, they got another movie called The Wallabies. They were saying Sweetie line, sweetie, Swinny line or something like that. It's another word called Switzerland. Then ones will go up and go down. And ones comes up, not come down. Because what that means is they got the biggest mountain of other side of Europe, and it's very expensive. You got to have a Switch account in order to live Switzerland. If you ain't got a Switch account, you can't live there. But I want to ask the people from Switzerland: do they know that the Knight Templars created Switzerland for what it is now? Or did they know the Ku Klux Klan is direct descendants from them? And it started by the Three Musketeers. There was a brother who wrote Three Musketeers. Really, he's half black and half white, and his father was a general from the Haitians of military war. Go look it up. That explains it, and look this, and you can find some history for yourself. And that's all. And I'm done talking about this word slavery and racism because all it is has been finalized and funded by the government. The word slave is basically means to strip us the enemy, and not only that, it also came from the people a group of people called the Slavic people. You can go look it up and do the research yourself. Neither I can say I couldn't explain anymore. That's all. And it's your boy Domination. This is back in the basic. Children do South Texas, baby. Until next time. Peace, and I'm out. All right, peace.